Hello and welcome to my Yu-Gi-Oh channel. Today we're looking at a brand new card coming out of Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush Duels. This is Stockbuster the Terrorstriking Dragon. It's a level 7 Dark Attribute Dragon type effect monster with 2400 attack and 1600 defense. The requirement: if your opponent controls 5 or more cards, you can activate this by sending one card from your hand to the graveyard. And the effect: all face-up monsters level 7 or lower your opponent controls lose 1500 attack until the end of this turn. When seeing this card to begin with, I really have lost faith with it, and it's very much to do with its requirement. I don't mind that it's a level 7, 2 tributes for that, and that type of effect is very explosive and is quite reasonable because it does need to have some downsides to it. But the problem is your opponent has to control 5 or more cards. There are currently 7 slots that you have available within Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush Duels. You have 3 monster zones, you've got 3 spell and trap zones, and don't forget you've also got the field spell zone. Potentially you have 3 ways of getting it out. You've essentially got to make sure and force them to have at least 5 cards on their field. 5, 6 or 7. You know, you're not likely to get 6 or 7, but you need them to have at least 5. So that means you actually have to probably be quite patient with them. You're going to have to try and defend yourself before you can actually trigger off this effect. You're also going to have to keep this card in the hand, because the second they see this and they read the effect, they are not going to let you meet that condition. They're just not going to. They're either going to get rid of this card in some way, or they're going to see that you're trying to wait out on something and know that something's up, and they're going to try and get rid of this card from your hand, or potentially they're going to try and keep things in face down defense mode, because it doesn't destroy them, it simply reduces their attack points by 1500. So if they're face down or if they're in defense mode, they don't care if they've lost all their attack points. They're in defense mode. All the stats are based on their defense, not on their attack, which is a massive disadvantage of this card. It's also conditional only on level 7 or lower monsters, so your opponent can just tribute summon over this to summon something like a Blue Eyes White Dragon or any other level 8 or higher monster. You having so many more of these maximum monsters that can counter this card. It would have been nice if it had just been more flexible in not just focusing on weaker level monsters, but actually just let it go into everything and anything. You can do a lot of explosive amounts of damage, but the problem is getting the conditions right. It's just not going to happen. Discarding a card as well from your hand to the graveyard alongside the limitations already on this card make it even worse, and I'm just a little sad that it can't be as impressive as it could have been if they'd actually tweaked the effect and the requirements. What do you guys think of this card? Do you think I'm being overly harsh? Do you think there's a way of forcing your opponent to run certain numbers of cards so you can meet this card's condition? Is there anything I'm actually missing out, any spell or trap cards or monster effects which can support this strategy? Whatever you think, leave those in the comments down below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe for more daily Yu-Gi-Oh content.